Hello everybody! In this video, we will see how to split a component that has a big reactive form model into several children components. The idea is to have components that are small and maintainable. So let's get started. The form model that we're going to work with is this one. We have a user form, a form group with nested form groups, and this is the basic info, which is, as we can see, form group, and the address, and again this is a form group. Each one has 4 different form controls, and here we have 4 different form controls. So one form group with 2 nested form groups, and if you can see the template, we can see here that we have just a div, which is a form wrapper, an ng container, which is the form group, and we said that the form group is user form, which is the root form group, and then we have 2 different containers. The first one has a binding on the basic info using the form group name directive, and the other one has a binding on the address nested form group using the form group name directive. Now let's open each one differently. So as you can see here, for this example, I use material, and here I have a mat card, and this is the title of the card. So the basic info has the first name, has the last name, has the email and the age. And as you can see, here we have the form control name on each different input field. So let's close this one and expand this, which is the form group name address. Again, here we have the title, a mat title, card title, which is the address details. And then we have another form field for street. This one is for number, this one is for postal, and this one is for company. And of course, we have the form control name directives on each one. Yeah, I know that here I have to have it like number, the same here, and the same here. And let's go on the browser to see how this works. So we have 2 different cards, the basic info and the address details. This one, I use it just for debugging purposes to see that our binding works nice, works well. So if I type something with the first name, we can see that we have here the binding, nice, so it works. And of course, to do the same for last name, and here we can have our email and the age. So everything seems to work fine. And the same here for the street. So I will have like test, 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 and test. So I have all the values. Nice. The main idea, as we said previously, is to split this component into several ones. And you might be wondering here, why do you have to split this? Is a small one. Yeah, imagine that this is a very big component with very big form, and we have to split it in order to make it more maintainable. Because the maintainability is not only on the source code, but we have also to have maintainable templates, HTML templates. And this is what are we going to do. So first, we need to create 2 different components. The first for basic info and the other one for address. So let's create them. I will create a new component. I will name it basic info. A default component, and I'm going to do the exact same thing for address. So here, generate a component, address. Nice. So we have 2 different components. Before we dive deeper, it's important to understand how are we going to connect the parent component, which is this one, the app component, with the children component, which will be the address and the basic info. Well, we're going to use the form group. Let me follow this. So if I control click the form group, you can see that this one The class of this one is the formGroupDirective, and this is what we are going to use. In Angular, when you have a directive and inside the directive you have another component, in the constructor of that component you can inject the class name of the directive. We will see how this works. So let's start first with the basic info. Since we have this here and we want to make it reusable, I'm going just to cut this and I will paste it in the template of the basic info component. Of course, now we do not have the form group name because we do not have at all here the form group. And as we said previously, what we are going to use is a private, and we're going to inject a form group directive. I will name it like root form group, and the class name is formGroupDirective. And this one now is actually the instance, so let me close this. This formGroupDirective is the instance of this form group. Since we have the instance, we can declare another variable like so. So I will have here a form of form group, and in the engine init I will initialize this variable with this root form group dot control. So this control now is the actual form group that we want to work. Having the form, we can go now in the basic info component HTML, in the template of this component actually, and we can simply have here an ng container with a form group equals to form. So let's close this here and fix a bit. Nice. So what we have here now is the form group name of the basic info, which should be exist in this form group, in the form. And if we go back, this automatically should work. So let's see if this will work. And if we go here and have the app basic info, if I save, let's go in the browser. Nice. So we can see, of course, we do not have the same styling, but what we can see here is that we have the first name, we have the last name, email, and age. And what about if I start typing? We need this first name to have a correct binding with the root form group. So if I have Fanny's, yeah, nice. It works nice. So we can do the exact same thing for the other one, which is the address container, which is the address component. So I will cut this from here and I will paste it inside here. And let's do the exact same thing, meaning that here we need to have a private. I will name it like root form group of type formGroupDirective. And of course we need also to have a form, which will be a form group. Let's initialize this. This form equals this root form group dot control. And if we go here, what we need to do is to have just a container. ng container, and I will have the formGroupDirective here, and I will have it like binded with a form. Nice. So format the document. And what we have now is a different component, which is the address component. We have the form group, which is the form, and the form group name. We have a binding with the address. Now let's go here, take the selector. Let's go again into the app component HTML and simply have it here, app address. Let's go to the browser. Nice. It seems that we have now the address details without the styling. This is okay. And let's start typing. And if we type something here, we should see it in the address, which is the root form group. So if I have test, we can see it here, the same for the number, the same for the postal, and the same for company. Excellent. So this is how we split a big reactive form model into children components. We might be wondering now that this is not aligned with the API of Angular, because here we have just a component and automatically does something, but that doesn't make any sense with this form. I agree. So let's fix this a bit. So what we are going to do is actually, let me close everything. Let me collapse this also. So what we're going to do is get rid of this form group name. I will remove this from here. We don't need it. And I will keep just the form group form. And why? And the reason is that here the control, since it is, as we said previously, this is all the form group model that we created. We can get the basic info and have a casting to form group. And by having this, get the basic info, this means that now this form is actually the form group. Let me go here, this form group. Close and close. And let's go to the browser. And we can see that this one works nice. Let's do the exact same thing now for the address. So let's close this. Of course, we have to go first on the HTML, grab this one. We don't need now to have the form group name. And let's go to the source code, get, what do you want to get? Address. And I know that this is a form group. And again, if we go to the browser, we should see this working. Nice, it works. But still, if we go in the app component HTML, we didn't improve this that much. It doesn't follow the Angular semantics. And the idea here, if you remember previously, the initial code, here we had a form group name, so that we knew that this basic info, we will bind it with a form group, with a nested form group. So let's do this now, and we will improve the code later. So form group name, and this is going to be, so let's go here, the basic info, and I will copy this, and I'm going to do the exact same thing here, but I know that this is the address. If we go now to the basic info, what we can see here is that we do not have anywhere the form group name. So let's create it. And simply we're going to have an input, and I will name it like form group name. And I know that this is going to be of type string. And the idea with this is that we can delete completely this one and have the form group name. And let's do the exact same thing in the address component. So I have here the input, the name is form group name of type string, and of course here I want to have like this form group name. And let's go to the browser, and if I start typing, it seems that this works. We can see it here, and I hope to have the same here. Nice. So if we go now into the app component HTML, what we can see is that we have only 13 lines. So actually this is our form. We have only 13 lines to have a binding for this form model. And we have two different children components, and each one uses the form group directive, and we have this magic form group name. And actually, that was it. We made it. We have one big component with several children components. Thanks for watching.